So when an investigation is happening, if we are investigating a person with IBD, or the investigation involves a person with IBD, will they have a support person with them who is there to help them with supported decision making? I mean, they're not like in a room by themselves with an APS investigator that doesn't know them or anything like that. Because it's not clear to me if that is allowed to happen under APS statute.
I don't see that being covered here. Right?
Well, it's just about interviewing the client.
Yeah. Is there another, if a client refuses to participate, I'm just checking to see what surrounds that.
It's really an ADA accommodation is what it is for getting there. For example, someone that has different forms of communication, they can't communicate, they need to have a support person there. So really you're violating their ADA rights if they don't have someone available to help them be supported.
Mark, take it on.
Just make and let me respond. We're kind of getting into operational issues and kind of away from the actual rule changes that we're reviewing. Absolutely, in the IDD system, as you know, people are supported to communicate effectively, and if there is an investigation into abuse or neglect for that individual, then relevant people, going back to the language, relevant people are going to be involved in that conversation. And so, absolutely, if someone does not use words to communicate, then you would be interviewing someone around them. But those are operational in nature, and
is that something the APS investigators know? Because I know right now they're being yanked away from their support people when they're interviewed.
So if there are specific cases.
No, I'm just saying though, is that communicated to the APS people that that's an expectation from your supervision, that they have the ability to have a person there?
What Maureen is saying, that we're seeing a trend coming from families to say, well, wait a minute, little Susie came home and she was all distraught because these two people came from the state and the day program said, we need to speak to her alone. They had her in there for 90 minutes and next thing you know, she's signing some form and the families are, wait a minute, we are, the mom might be an authorized rep and the family might be, and then APS comes in and says, well, that doesn't matter anymore because we have our form that was signed and that's negated. And they ask to see the form and they're told no.
And then when they say my daughter doesn't even read, they signed a form that she can't even read, and she signed a form and they're taking that as a legal form, but yet she can't have an attorney because they say she's not able to have an attorney.
And no supports while that interview process is going on.
So
that's part of the problem.
in the instances of specific cases like that, I think this is where
Yes.
Salisa about Robinson.
But it needs to be brought out because this is the interview talk that we're talking
Yes.
about.
And this is a daily process. This isn't isolated. This is what's going on right now on a daily basis with APS investigators.
And what I'm saying is that you're right, Rob, it's an operational issue that happens at the county. If there are specific cases that you want attention to, Salisa is the person to contact, and that will allow us to follow up on an operational issue. What we're trying to get through here tonight is the rule changes that we are taking to state board next week. And so it would really help if we did. Yeah.
That's fine, but this is our time too, and I understand you want to stick to this, but we are not the state board here. We are stakeholders that are trying to learn this process. So I appreciate your patience in us trying to get our head around this because this is an educational process for the stakeholders. Yeah.
It may be helpful for you to meet with your APS leadership at the county level to learn their processes, because what we're doing is implementing the oversight function, and the actual operations that you're trying to learn are determined at the county level. And so you mentioned you were in Adams County, I believe?
Arapahoe.
Arapahoe. sit down with the Arapahoe APS
Right,
supervisor.
but from what I
and-
understood from the state board members said, we determine the supervision. So really, the directive's coming from the state. So I don't know why I should have to go to Arapahoe County when the directive is coming from the state. All of these rules and regs, everyone's supposed to be following equally, and they're not. And that's the state's
And that
responsibility.
is where, in the cases of a specific concern.
It's
around
not,
whether
it's
they're
not. I
facing
know,
that,
Greg, you have to say that, but I'm just trying to bring out the reality here, because we can dig into this, but we're not here to be pretend state board members. We're here because we're families and we have loved ones that we care about. So we're not going to be analyzing it like we're a state board member. That's all I'm saying. And we may not stick exactly to the definitions that we're on, but we're here because we're passionate. And to be honest with you, we're afraid. We're afraid. That's why we're here.